Hey everybody, what's up? It is about 3 o'clock right on the dot here. Yeah, 3 o'clock Pacific time. And this is a live stream, of course. And as you see the title, it is this updated overview of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Season 8 for today, October 12th, 2018. The last time I did an overview, in case you guys want to know, was back at the beginning of September. Of course, that was for season. That was for the early release of season 8. The early, not release, but for the early finish of season 8 in other countries. As a matter of fact, that video was back on September 10th. So it's been about a month since I did it. And that was one that I did with my camcorder. So yeah, that was a video, like I said, I did with my camcorder, and obviously some people did enjoy it. I do apologize if there's any kind of abrupt interruptions, because as I've mentioned before, when I do these live streams, and I'm just opening a Pepsi right now. When I do these live streams, I have the Xfinity XB6 modem that obviously is more emphasis on the Wi-Fi than the it's more emphasis on Wi-Fi than it is on the Ethernet cable portion, because I notice that I seem to always get interruptions at times when I try to go to another page and all that. So I do apologize if you encounter any kind of interruptions during this, because that's not my intent, for that to happen. Yeah, I would have done. Now, I would have done this earlier too, but I was just so I was just tired from yesterday. I mean, in this past week. Long story short, um, I'm a cashier at my job. I'm kind of like an everyman at times. So I do cashiering. I work customer service. I watch the pharmacy or grocery side doors and stuff like that. Self checkout. And excuse me, there. In the past week or two, our electric mule for our carts that we put carts on, kind of connect like a train and use it to bring carts in, broke down. So I ended up basically having to help out throughout this week numerous times. And yesterday was basically the coup de grace of it, because I ended up working most of the day outside because the cop pusher we were supposed to have called in. So, yeah, I got stuck doing the job. Um, the only benefits about doing that job is you can listen to your music if you want to. If you have headphones, you can listen to your music. But my best advice is you'll always get one of those Bluetooth pieces that is like a one piece you just put in your ear and go like that. My suggestion is getting the M-POW one because it works great. But anyway, let's get into season 8 as a whole. Now, I said what I had to, and as you notice, I am wearing the Rarity shirt that they brought out during San Diego Comic-Con this year with the 80s theme. So I got the Rarity shirt on. Probably have to wash it a little bit, maybe, depending, just in case. Because I have it over another shirt right now, so I just put it on for this occasion. Um, but yeah, basically, season 8, when you look at it as a whole, it's been one of those seasons that as I said earlier, as I said in the earlier version of this overview about a month ago, it's kind of had its ups and downs. And I mean that literally. Because there are times where some episodes were good and some episodes were bad. And or kind of in the middle. And fans did not appreciate that. Because to some of them, it felt like, well, you're regressing this character back to something they're not supposed to be. And in a way, that's kind of true. It's kind of true. They did do that. Like I said, in a way, it's kind of true that they did do that. Um, but I wouldn't say that it. I wouldn't say that necessarily that. When I think about it, I think back to something that I said before. I said that. Well, honestly, I said that basically. I looked, and I said this a couple months ago. I think as the season was progressing, and some people even pointed out that I did have a point on this. That this season, season 8, because every season has a theme that has to relate to friendship. This season, this season's theme was not just about friendship, but how strong friendship is. Basically, this season focused a lot of stories at times testing that really tested the friendship of the main 6, main 7, if you count Starlight, Spike, Discord, Big Mac, you name it. It really tested friendship. Even the Cutie Mark Crusaders got tested. Even Twilight and Celestia's friendship got tested. That's basically what the theme was. The theme of this season was how how strong friendship really is and how much friendship could get through. And when you think about that and you look back at some of the episodes, you kind of see that it does have a point. You kind of see that it has a point there. I mean, this character here, Rarity, she got an episode with Rainbow Dash that end in friend. And it's like, seriously, you're going to go that direction? I mean, a lot of people thought it was good, but when you premiere Yakety Sax about a month or so before, and that episode from a continuity standpoint comes out after the end in friend, you pretty much give away the ending already. You pretty much, give away the ending already. And like I said, you kind of give out the ending already because it's like, oh, sorry about that. Be right back. Just gotta do this. It's getting a little warm. Sorry about that. Yeah, it'll be fine. I don't think I have to wash it or anything. No sweat, no nothing. Yeah, it'll be fine. If it starts stinking, then I will. I have to rewash it, but I think it'll be fine. Whoa, that's not gonna work. This will though. Hold on. Maybe not. Maybe I should get that one. I can get it down carefully without knocking stuff down. Got it. Yeah, this will probably work in its place. This is the fourth dimension, I think, rarity plush. Yeah, by fourth dimension, I have an Applejack and a Rainbow Dash as well. But anyway, like I said, basically, let me put rarity right there for a second. But basically, when one, what I'm trying to say, and I do apologize if I'm rambling a little bit. There we go. I'll shut my door a little bit more. But yeah. But basically, when you look at season 8 as a whole, like I said, the main thing here is friendships being truly tested. Again, you take a look at rarity here. Rarity, of course, you saw the shirt, and then rarity period, and you see the end in friend, and the fact that we already knew what the outcome was going to be, especially when you saw Yakety Sax come out a month earlier, thanks to Discovery Family's birthday little surprise or whatever. But the thing is, Rarity had that episode to where, with Rainbow Dash, and they kind of, in the episode, temporarily ended the friendship. Even though a lot of people knew that was going to be BS anyway, it's like, that there is a good example of how true the friendship was being tested, to the point that you have two members of the main six who have to kind of work with each other when they're all part of one group, ending the friendship. That is a true test. But it's not the first time, let's say, Rainbow Dash got involved either. Rainbow Dash was also put into a testing of the friendship in non-compete clause with Applejack, which kind of reignited the rivalry. So, yeah, when you think about it overall, the theme of this season So I'm just thinking to myself right there. But yeah, when you think about how the friendship was tested this season, it pretty much is confirmed that that's what the theme friendships were tested this season. It pretty much confirms what that was. And I know some people will come on and say, well, Brian, we've seen this done before in other seasons. Yeah, we have, but not to this extent. Not to the extent to where you're even testing the friendship of Celestia and Twilight. Yeah, you're testing the friendship of this princess and her mentor, that princess, Twilight and Celestia, in horseplay. You're even doing that. And that's kind of a bit of a surprise, but not really. It's kind of a surprise, but not really. That you're testing that friendship. That you're going out and you're testing that friendship to the point to that extension. And that's never been done. I mean, yeah, we've seen Twilight upset Celestia at times with her actions, especially back in season 1 and 2, but she's never tested a friendship. She's never acted the way she did like she did in Horseplay. Now, people might say Horseplay was a decent episode, a good Celestia-focused one, and it was nice to see, freak out Twilight once again. But still, to test the friendship as far as that, especially when it comes to those two, was you may or may not like the episode, but consider it decent. You have to really say was a bit of a surprise. It really was, because it's like, okay, we've seen them test friendships before, but we never thought it would happen with Twilight and Celestia, and yet it did. It happened with them. It happened with Celestia and Twilight, and hold on for a sec. And despite again how you feel about the story, Ori, it basically shows you what the true theme of this season was. It was about friendship, but how strong friendship is. It was about testing it and seeing how much friendship can endure to prove how strong it is. That's basically what it was. The theme and the moral of the season was how strong is friendship and how much can it endure. That's what it was. Whether you like it or not. They even tried to, what's the word I'm looking for? They even tried it with the student six, the young six, that tested their friendships at times and whether or not they could trust each other. Heck, the finale kind of did that, if you will, but that moment turned out to be nothing but a ruse to get the plot going for the young six. But if you look at episodes like The Washouts, that there many would consider is a good episode because it did something that we didn't think it would ever do. It tested the friendship of Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash. And the fact that, well, Scootaloo basically had to finally come out. It tested the friendship of Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash to the point that when Rainbow Dash, I wouldn't say in a sense, confronted Scootaloo about her decision to join the Washouts, Scootaloo pretty much said what everybody has kind of been seeing for quite some time. And that is, Scootaloo basically tells Rainbow, hey, I'm never going to be a Wonderbolt because I can't fly. And if I can't fly, I'll never be the best. So this is the best secondary option I have. So for Rainbow, in a sense, to hear that from essentially what is her little sister and realizing, okay, she's growing up, she wants to make her own decisions, but this is probably not one of the best decisions out there that she can make. It is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call for Dash to realize, you know what? If she wants to go down a different path because, she can't achieve a dream she wants to, then I have to let her do that. So, yeah, you have friendships, like I said, between Twilight and Celestia, Scootaloo and Rainbow, Dash and Rarity. You have this all tested. You have this all tested out. Yeah, and that has been the theme. That has been the theme of the season, whether you like it or you don't. It has been the theme of the season that friendships are going to be truly tested more than they ever have. And we've seen that. We've seen that throughout. Just recently, Father Knows Beast, a true testament of friendship being, a true moment of friendship being tested between Spike and Twilight. Twilight and the others want to support Spike and possibly reuniting who he thinks at the time is his father, but then turns out not to be. You know, they're all willing to help him, but then they start questioning, okay, they start questioning the authenticity of this guy being Spike's father, and it gets to the point that Spike says a line to Twilight, which really is kind of heartbreaking. Basically, he says, hey, maybe you're just jealous of the fact that I have a real parent now, or real family now, or something like that. And that's a heartbreaking moment. And Twilight has to kind of try to brush it off and accept, you're right. But thankfully, it didn't turn out to be, again, thankfully, the revelation of Sludge being Spike's father did not turn out to be true. And he was able to reconcile with Twilight, who, was readily, obviously, and some people would argue this went a little too quickly, but was arguably ready to, reconcile him. She was ready to take him back. That's what it was. She was ready to, take him back, reconcile with him, and realize that Spike even said it himself, and I'm sure Twilight off screen thought about this. All Spike did was say something that he shouldn't have said because he was angry at the fact that they were doubting possibly the truth of Sludge being Spike's father. And you can't blame, and here's the thing. People would say you can't really blame Spike for lashing out the way he did or saying what he did, because there are kids that are going to be rebellious. I think even Raven Mad said this in his video. He said, basically, Spike doing what he did, saying what he did, even though he didn't want to or didn't mean to, was just how kids are when they grow up and they get into those adolescent teenage years or young adult years. They start to become rebellious. They start to be they start saying things and acting in ways towards people that are essentially the family, who are their friends, but essentially the family because they raised them, and they don't want to say those things. They don't really mean to say them. They're just lashing out. They're just being rebellious. So, yeah, Father Knows Beast is another good example of friendship being tested. And there are other parts throughout the season that show that. And if you don't want to believe me that friendship being tested, or friendship, or how strong friendship is being the moral and the theme of the season is the core of it, or is the core theme of the season, I should say, just watch tomorrow's finale if you've not seen the season 8 finale yet. Listen to what Cozy Glow says at the end of the two-parter. Listen to what she says to Twilight at the end. Then you'll kind of get the idea why friendship, or true friendship, or how true and how strong friendship really is kind of the core theme of the season. You'll kind of see that. You'll kind of see that because if you have seen the finale, then you kind of have an idea of what Cozy Glow is up to, or what Cozy Glow's motivations really are. But like I said, just listen to that line she says in an almost mocking way towards Twilight about friendship after the Student 6 approached Twilight and kind of encourage her, hey, just because this happened doesn't mean you failed. Just listen to the line that comes afterwards. You'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. And, speaking of the finale, you want to talk about true friendship being the core theme, how strong true friendship is being the core theme, or basically the testing of friendship being a core theme here, or should I just say friendship overall being the core theme here in this season, probably more so than any other season prior. Take a look at what Twilight says in part 1 of the finale tomorrow. She basically, in a bit of spoilers, she basically tells her friends that she's now realized that she can depend on them. Because she basically tells Luna and Celestia, hey, we'll go to Tartarus. Rarity's reaction at first, because it takes her about a second to kind of register what Twilight just said, Rarity's like, oh, no, you're not about to, whoa. And I'm hoping a lot of people react to that and talk about that part, because it takes a momentary lapse for Rarity to realize, whoa, what did you just say? Be like, whoa, what did you just say? Hold on for a sec. But yeah, it takes a moment to be like, whoa, what did you just say? Kind of deal. And that kind of shows you right there, along with the mocking that the mocking that Cozy Glow does in the line she delivers to Twilight at the end, like I said, that you should check out. It basically shows you the core theme of this season, probably more so than any other season, is friendship and how truly strong friendship really is, and basically who is, but basically friend. I'm trying to think of a word here. Or basically how truly strong friendship is. Despite everything that happens, you can get through. Your friendship can get through it, no matter what. So, yeah, overall, the theme of this season is that. And I'm sorry if I repeated myself, rambled a little bit when I was trying to get to that point. But I do apologize on that. I mean, again, you want a good example, despite how you might feel about it, they even tested the friendship of Starlight and Trixie in the episode On the Road to Friendship. Starlight did something in that episode that she wasn't supposed to. It strained, if not destroyed, the relationship between the two. They were able to reconcile and realize, you know what? We're all good friends. This journey, as Trixie put it, has strengthened and made our friendship more powerful. But perhaps traveling together is not the best suggestion. You know what I'm saying? You know what she's kind of saying? Like, yeah, it's great to, be together and all that, but maybe traveling together is not the best idea. More along the lines of, hey, we can just meet each other over, we can meet each other at a certain destination. It's like, hey, we can meet ourselves in a certain destination. Basically, I think the message here with Trixie and Starlight in that episode was we can meet each other. We can still meet each other in that location, but we don't have to travel together. It's like we don't have to travel together, but we can meet each other there. Hold on. Hold on, let me check something here for a second. But yeah, a lot of the episodes that I've listed off and the friendships that got tested in it pretty much proves exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you even got a continuity nod to this recent episode in the finale. When Spike comes to the realization of, wait a minute, we're trapped here in Tartarus with Turek. What does Twilight do? She puts a wing around him and comforting him. Great continuity nod to the recent episode that came before. But overall, the season 8 definitely was. And again, I apologize if I'm repeating myself and rambling. I'm doing this unscripted, of course. Live stream is unscripted. So, but yeah, Spike. But yeah, season 8 was definitely a season that, really, like I said, had its ups and downs, but its overall message and moral at the end was how strong true friendship is and what true friendship can get, and that true friendship can get you through anything and overcome any obstacles. And it was proven here. It was really proven here because you can see that. You kind of see that a little bit in the episode or in the season throughout the season, like I said, with the episodes I've mentioned and other episodes as well. You kind of see that. And I like that. I kind of like that they truly tested, because a lot of people always think, oh, they're always going to get through stuff. No, they went in areas that, they got the friendship overcame the problems that the situations and problems they were in. But you never thought they would go in those kind of directions with them. You never thought, you would go in those directions, with them. And that was the thing. You never thought you'd head in those directions with those characters. I mean, usually when you have a friendship being tested, it's usually a friendship that involves the main six in some capacity. Even if it's a one-off character, like let's say, so far a one-off character, and that being Rara Karotura, being Countess Karotura, Rara, if you will. It involves her, It involves her, and and like I said, it involves her, and how basically Applejack, being her true friend, was trying to reveal the truth to her, and it only took Applejack, and it only took that friendship being as strong and as true as it was, despite them being apart from each other for a while, to really see through what Swift Gallop was truly up to when it came to her, when it came to his true intentions. When it came to his true intentions involving Rara. So again, yes, friendship has been tested before, but usually it's been with one-off characters, or so far one-off characters. Here, we saw it more with the main six and characters they associate with, probably more than we ever thought. Even again, like I said, with the Cutie Mark Crusaders, we have seen it. So this was truly, I believe, the first real season where friendship within the group itself, within the main characters and the co-characters that they shared a spotlight with, was truly tested. And the episodes showed that. They really did. The episodes truly showed that friendship being tested, probably more so than I think anybody would have expected. Excuse me there. I said probably more so than some people ever expected. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect that. to go down, but it did. And like I said, it did. It went down that way. And again, some people may be like, "Oh, I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't see that coming," but it did. And trying to hold on here for a second. But like I said, it did. And like I said, some people may have not expected it to happen that way. But like I said, it did. And but like I said, it did. And it was just one of those unusual situations, just really one of those unusual what was I saying? Totally lost my train of thought there. Sorry. Hold on, I know what to do. Sorry. Totally lost my train of thought. But yeah, the friendship was just truly tested. Like, again, you never thought it would be. So, but yeah, it's like overall, season 8. Let me just check something here for a second, folks. Because, like I said, I lost my train of thought there. Season 8, again, has been one of those seasons that, when you look at it, friendship wasn't just the theme of it, probably more so than anything. Hold on for a sec, folks. Let me check something. In the group itself, within the main characters and the co-characters, it's probably more so than some people. So, excuse me. It's probably more so than some people ever expected. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect that. Involving a rival. So again, yes, friendship has been tested. Okay, that's what I was at. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, basically, we had not seen. What I was trying to say is, we had never seen friendship be tested the way we did within the group itself, within the main group itself, and in their allies and the friends, more so than we did this season, because we'd only seen it with one-off characters. And thank you, Jordan. Hello, and Black Shadow. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate that. And no, I have not bought any Switch games yet. Oh yeah, people are talking about the new season, Jordan. If you go to MLP forums, there's a question being talked about, asking asking if there's any news on it. The speculation. Heck, I did a speculation video recently, 2 of them anyway, what fans actually want to see, and then recently I did one of what's most likely and potentially likely to show up. So check those out if you guys want to. But yeah, we've never really seen it tested as much within the friendship, within the group itself, within the main 6, main 7 group, along with Spike, Celestia, and all them, and Celestia, Luna, and all them. We've never really seen it tested very much. And like I said, Starlight and Trixie is a good example. But overall, when you look at season 8, it's a season that, as I mentioned before, had its ups and downs. it has been a season that some fans have loved and some people have not loved. You know, they look at they look at, let's say, Yakety Sax as not being a good episode, like it was a regression of Pinky's character, because to them the thing that stuck out was, why is Pinky so upset over not playing this Yakasan musical instrument from Yakasan and anymore? Why is she upset about giving it up? Why is it causing her to go into such a depression mode that she decides to temporarily move out of Ponyville into Yakistan? Doesn't make sense to them. But yeah, it's moments like that that really, really kind of made this overall. I mean, overall, the season, a lot will agree, ended on a high note, but even that had a bit of controversy to it as well. But yeah, it was more along the lines of, when you had an episode like Yakety Sax, it's like it just didn't make any sense as to why you would do that. And some would even argue that non-compete clause is the same way. It's like, why would you even go this direction with Applejack and Rainbow Dash? What is it, a reminder to the older fans and an introduction to the newer fans that, yeah, these two are friends, but they have a friendly rivalry? It's like, yeah, these two are close friends, but they also have a very friendly rivalry to see who's the best, you know, at certain sports and all that. Basically, they like to be competitive with each other. So, you know, there are episodes like that that just really didn't gel well with the fans, even newer ones, I think. Horseplay, everybody thought was okay because it was nice to see a Celestia episode again, and it was nice to see her react the way she did, you know, go through have the moments that she did. I mean, I think everybody would practically agree with Spike, because I think it's the first time Spike's ever seen it, when Twilight and him give her the news that they want to do this play and they want her to be the lead, you know, play herself, the way she gets excited and then kind of prances around. I mean, Spike's reaction, I think, is the same with all the fans. Like, wait a minute, did she just prance? Because he had never seen this before from her. He'd never seen it before. And she's basically like a mother figure to him, too. And she's never seen it. Or he's never seen that. You know, he's never really seen her do that before. So, you know, in Horseplay, you know, some would say it was all right. You know, it's decent, but wasn't probably the best they could have done. But again, like I mentioned earlier, it was an episode that tested the friendship of Celestia and Twilight. And basically that Twilight needs to basically depend and listen to her friends. I mean, heck, they do a freaking continuity nod to the episode later on. Later on with Yakety Sax. Well, not Yakety Sax. I think it's Yakety Sax, or is it? Yeah, I think it is Yakety Sax. But they do a continuity nod later on. Now, what was the other episode they did? Oh yeah, Granny's Gone Wild. That episode, the title, a lot of people did not like, because it's like, seriously, Hasbro, you're going to go that direction? A lot of people did like the episode, though, because the moral of that episode was you cannot judge somebody by their age. You can't judge somebody by their age. And, you know, you need to, and there's a lot more to learn about them than what's being led on. And that's a good moral. But I think the other reason it was a success is because it paid homage to the Golden Girls. Because what was the nickname for this group that Granny Smith and Golden Delicious was a part of? What was the name of the group? The Golden Hoof Girls. Or the Golden Hoof Club, or whatever. So I think that's another reason it succeeded, because when parents that probably grew up on the Golden Girls as kids themselves heard that this was going to be like paying homage to them, and you know, you get to watch the reruns of Golden Girls today through channels like the Wii Network, Hallmark. You can even stream them, I think. To hear that MLP is doing somewhat of a homage episode to that, is going to, gain a lot of viewers. It's going to people want to see if it's a true homage. And the characters you have in there do represent who the characters were in the Golden Girls. In a sense, they really do. But yeah, that was one of the better episodes. Meltdown is an episode a lot of people were hoping to see, and it was one of the episodes that got leaked. Well, it was still somewhat in progress, and it definitely turned out to be everything fans hoped for. The only thing that someone like, let's say, MisAnthropony Map didn't appreciate was the whole Sparity situation. He didn't like the fact that it seems, even with the episode before, which was the breakdown, where they teased it a little bit, he's one of those people that just doesn't like the idea that Hasbro or the creative staff at Hasbro or now AllSpark Animation is constantly teasing this, even in its 8th season. It's like, to someone like Map, it's like, you haven't really done anything with this relationship, and it's better conveyed as with them being friends. So why don't you focus more on that instead of trying to tease, hey, these two might get together? And, Map's not alone in that feeling, but I look at it this way, and I've said it before. Season 9's the season to where they either got to, and get off the pot with this relationship, or they just got to go the direction that Map said. Just let them be friends. And that's it. So let them be friends, and that's it. I mean, I don't know if Map's going to point this out and even mention it's kind of like a tease, a disparity moment. But there's a moment in the finale tomorrow where Spike's trying to deliver a message from Celestia, and it's kind of, he's having a hard time with it because the synopsis is the magic is disappearing, and that includes his magic. So what happens? The only way the message gets out of him, the message from Celestia gets spitted out from him, or spit it out of his mouth, is when Rarity comes up to him while he's lying on the ground and goes boom with her hoof, and out comes the message. So, some people could say that's a Sparity moment, and there are some Sparity-like moments or teases, maybe not like flirting and all that, but more like, they're right next to each other kind of deal that will kind of maybe get people to talk about that and be like, okay, you're doing this, but you're still doing it somewhat, but you're not really doing anything. Do something. And I can understand how Map and others feel about that. It's like you're teasing it even up to now. So if you're teasing it, why don't you do something about it? I think that's the thing they feel. And again, I feel season 9's the season where it's probably going to happen, but it'll happen in a very subtle way. But yeah, Meltdown was good. The Mean Six, and here's a trend I noticed this season. I don't think anybody else noticed it. But before the mid-season finale, we had a Spike episode. And this one was where he got his wings. Before tomorrow's season finale, before the actual season 8 finale, which is tomorrow here in the US, we got a Spike episode where it was possible that we got introduced to his family, his dad, or so we thought at the time. So is it just me, or was that done on purpose where we had 2 character building, developing episodes, if you look at it that way, centered around Spike that took place before the finales this season, before the mid-season finale with Meltdown, and before the season finale tomorrow with Father Knows Beast? Did anybody not notice that? Maybe it's just me, but it seems kind of the pattern they went with. Overall, though, Meltdown was good. The Mean Six, even though it was hyped up as being the mid-season finale and Crystallis's return, look, I'll admit it, I thought it was okay. But a lot of people didn't, because it's like all you're doing is rehashing is the disharmonious 6. In other words, the mean six are basically crystallis versions of the deharmonized six, basically reverse of who they really are. And kind of a reverse of who they really are, and an opposite of who they really are. And even though it had some funny moments in there, like the rarity clone, or what was the name they gave her? Greedity, not rarity, greedity. I think they call it that. The expressions that clone of rarity gave were kind of cool, were kind of funny and all that. But I think what really kind of made it an all right episode, but not the best, was the fact that you're having Chrysalis come back, but all she's being reduced to is a comic relief villain now. You know, you have a part where she's trying to get the mean six in line until eye twitches like, you know, she's about to crack even further. I mean, it's just, you have all these ample opportunities in the episode that fans pointed out, and yet you never capitalized on them. Starlight was the only one that never got cloned, and you think Starlight would notice, hey, something's not right about the characters here. But the other thing that got people upset was it wasn't just Starlight that didn't notice that something was wrong and something was different. It was the rest of the main six. I mean, yeah, they were already kind of in a confrontational mood, mostly Twilight, because they wanted this camping trip to go off without a hitch. But they never addressed. But even so, even after they made up and apologized for how they acted towards each other, mostly Twilight to her friends, it's like they never added up 2 and 2. It's like they go to the campsite, see it's ruined, but they don't kind of add 2 and 2 together. They just laugh it off. And that's what kind of upset a lot of fans. It's like, wait a minute. Don't you think they would think something's up, something's not right here? And again, I think that's what made the Mean Six an all right episode, but having problems along the lines of how could Starlight or even the rest of the Main Six not notice something was wrong or something was off? And then you get later on in the season, let's talk about the rest of the first half here. Let's talk about, what was the episode? I'm trying to think. I got to figure out the episode here. Hold on, I'll just go to the forums. That'll let me know. But let's talk about the episode where Maud Pie's boyfriend gets introduced, Mud Briar, who many have said is basically the MLP version of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. I mean, the fact that you have a similar hairstyle, similar, if not exact, mannerisms, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, the mod couple, that's what it's called. The fact that you had similar mannerisms and almost an exact personality. The moment where he's like doing this, saying that he's organizing stuff in his mind, and then they show a clip of, I think some of the reviews show a clip of Sheldon from Big Bang doing something similar or doing the same thing. You know, some did like that. Some did like the episode. I think the only thing they didn't like about it was Pinky being jealous and not accepting the fact that, oh, look, Maud's moving on a little bit. It's basically like, look, Maud does love you. She does care about you, but you got to let her do her own thing. She got to live her own life. I mean, the fact that they finally had Maud admit, look, the only reason I truly enjoy the birthday parties and surprises you give me is it makes you happy, and thus, by making you happy, it makes me happy. So it's good that they finally admitted that she's not a particular fan of parties and all that, but she's willing to accept it if it makes Pinky happy, because making Pinky happy is what makes her happy. So, yeah. So, yeah, you know, yeah, that. So, yeah, It was okay. I mean, it's nice to see Mud Breyer, who I guess was started to becoming a fan favorite now because of fan, and I think we started to become a fan favorite because his similarities to Sheldon or something. And then you had episodes like Surf and or Turf, which was a Cutie Mark Crusaders and Twilight episode, because this is the first time ever that the CMCs, they are getting called by the map to go help a hippogriff / sea pony deal with a situation that's identical somewhat to divorce, and trying to help him realize that you don't have to be in one place to be happy. You can be in both places. And the fact that it takes the parents themselves to make him realize that. Some would say this was a good CMC episode, but then some would say, and others would feel otherwise about it, because it's like, yeah, it was good, but pretty much you could see a mile away what the resolution was going to be. The resolution that they were going to tell him was going to be, or at least they were going to point out to him was going to be. So overall, yeah, it was nice to finally see the CMCs get called by the map, which definitely expands on the idea that it's not just regulated to Twilight and the rest of the main six, but you also have other ponies and creatures getting called. Like last season, you had Starlight and then you had Spike. This season, you had the CMCs, you had Starlight again, but this time she was paired up with Sunburst, and that led us to Parent Map, which a lot of people actually liked. They loved it. They loved the fact that basically the friendship problem that Starlight and Sunburst were being set on was basically involving them reconciling with their parents and accepting the fact that, hey, this is who my parents are. All they're doing is looking out for my best interest, but they have to understand, as much as we appreciate that, we have to do our own thing. They got to let us do our own thing and all that. So I guess that's kind of cool, because that's kind of true to real life. Like, hey, parents are very protective of their kids, even when their kids grow up and want to do their own thing, that they want to keep them the way they are. So I think that's kind of nice. And I did like the fact that the father, he didn't outright say it, but kind of subtly acknowledged what Starlight had gone through. Like he had heard what happened. And you kind of see the expression on Starlight, like, oh, so about what I did kind of deal. And his reasoning, and thus that being his reasoning as to why he wants to keep her as she was. And again, it's overall the episode's good. It's funny, it's good. And I suggest, if you haven't seen it, to see it. It's really nice. It's a really good episode. The other thing I will talk about, I'll just go through this. Breakdown, I did like from what I've seen. It was an okay episode, but I liked it because it's obvious what's going on here. We had basically the first part, which was last year's episode between Big Mac and Sugar Bell. And I'm trying to see what that episode was. Hold on. I think I know it's in here somewhere. Hard to say. I think this is it. Hard to say anything. Is it hard to say anything? Yeah, it's hard to say anything. So you take a look at Hard to Say Anything, which was the first part in this and began that relationship between Big Mac and Sugar Bell. And then you take a look at Breakdown, which is the second part. The reason I like this is because it's obvious that they're going the trilogy route. I mean, you start the thing off in season 7, and if season 9 is being pinned out or planned out to be the last season, then it's obvious you're going to go trilogy route with this relationship. And the obvious next step in the trilogy is to set up an episode where maybe Big Mac proposes to Sugar Bell, and then perhaps part of the finale they get married. Who knows? But it's being set, to me, it's being set up the way it's being set up. Obviously, but the way it's being presented with that episode last season and then the follow-up this season, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a third one in a trilogy. I won't be. I will not be surprised because I think that's the most obvious direction that they're going in. It really is. So yeah. But then you look at episodes like A Matter of Principles, which a lot of people liked. They thought it was funny because it was somewhat of a Spike Starlight Discord episode involving the young six. And it was good. It was funny at times. The only thing that people didn't like about it was the fact that even though Starlight pretty much was in the right here, she's the one that apologized for what was going on because I guess the moral is, or the message was, because basically what it was in the end was she realized all Discord wanted to do was help. And Twilight never called upon him to help out in her absence along with Starlight. And that's basically, I think, what the and hello there, I am Shadow the Hedgehog. Thank you for joining. But yeah, basically, basically, the one thing that fans didn't like about it was Starlight swallowing her pride and apologizing for what was happening, because she basically realized all Discord really wanted to do was help. And I think the other moment that kind of threw people off was how powerful Starlight was positioned here in one moment, basically making her seem a little OP when she banished Discord's physical body from the school grounds, but not spiritual wise or astral projection wise. So that was good. Heartwarming Club, a lot of people did like, even though it was a Christmas episode in August, but they did like it because it expanded more on this, not just the young six, but on the cultures and how they celebrate the holiday a lot differently. So that was kind of cool. Earlier on in the season, we had Fake It Till You Make It, which was all right. It had its funny moments, especially towards the end with Rarity having to fire the multiple personalities that Fluttershy had developed. But the one thing that fans didn't like about it was it felt like it was a regression of Fluttershy's character. You know, like Fluttershy should know by now, you don't have to act like somebody you're not to help out. Sorry about that. To help out the way you do. So yeah, it was like that was a pretty good moral. Well, I wouldn't say pretty good moral, but basically, yeah, it was one of the things that fans, they thought the episode was good. They felt the episode was all right, but that's the one thing that could have been taken out of the equation. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, Friendship University. Everybody thought this was all right. Everybody thought this was good. They liked the fact that it focused, that the characters that were sent on the mission it wasn't necessarily a mission, but basically sent to investigate this Friendship University. They liked the idea it was Rarity in Twilight. And overall it was all right. I mean, yeah, but it was kind of, I think, again, you know what really, I mean, the episode was good, especially seeing Rarity get into her planety character, even to the point that she was thinking of staying at the university and wanted to trade in her books for bits, and then it dawns on her, oh, wait a minute, this is the scam, isn't it? You know? So that was pretty good. But so that was pretty nice. And then there's a moment where she finally does reveal who she is to Flim and Flam, and they're like, who? Like, wait a minute, you've fought he's like, you've gone against Applejack a lot, you've gone up against her friends, and you know this is probably one of them, and yet you can't remember who she is. You know, it was weird. It was kind of weird there, but it was nice to see Star Swirl, and kind of give us an update on what he's been doing and wanting to kind of readjust himself to life in the modern world. So it was a nice thing to have him involved, and then have him help be the reason that Flim and Flam's little scam kind of disintegrated, because basically the plan in the episode was to use the money not to expand the school, but to expand a casino resort. Go figure. So go figure when it comes to Flim and Flam. The one thing that I think really got fans upset, not upset with this episode, but kind of like, wait a minute, she's a princess, why can't she pull rank? And that's Twilight. It's like Twilight was basically positioned in some people's eyes as not as being easily duped or manipulated into letting things go or making deals and all that. Well, heck, she's the freaking princess of friendship. She should pull rank on these guys and say, look, I don't know how you got my notes. I don't know how you did this, but I'm not letting this happen. So, yeah, I think that was the one thing that, besides the rest of the episode being all right, that was the one thing that fans didn't like. Other stuff that the other episodes, like a rock hoof and a hard place, was a lot of people felt was really good, because it basically does play on something that happens in real life, that as you get older, you start wondering what your place is in the world, what your positioning is in the world. And sometimes when you figure out you don't have no other place in the world, especially if you're someone like a rock hoof, you contemplate basically you contemplate something else. Like maybe you retire and you just disappear. When I talk about this being like true to real life, you take a look at the fact that a lot of celebrities, actors and actresses, just over the past decade or two have just gone out of sight. They just disappear. They're around because, places like, because media outlets like Entertainment Tonight or TMZ or any other tabloids are able to capture them, doing something, but that's about it. It's like, okay, we know they're still around, but why aren't they acting anymore? Or why aren't they doing this anymore? And then it kind of dawns on you, if you watch this episode, that maybe they felt, hey, there's not a place for us anymore to do anything. There's not a place for us in Hollywood to, do or to really get a job and be ourselves in a movie. So maybe we just need to step away. And that's kind of what Rock Hoof and a Hard Place is. But what really is surprising and dark for the episode is the fact that Rock Hoof suggests to Twilight, hey, if I can't find my place in this world, why don't you just turn me to stone so I'll be remembered for who I was and not for what I'm becoming? But thankfully, they didn't go that route. But yeah, Rock Hoof and a Hard Place turned out to be really good. What Lies Beneath was all right. It was good. It was definitely an expansion on what we had in the Mean Six. Because in the Mean Six, it's the Tree of Harmony that saves Chrysalis from being turned on by her own creations. But it doesn't go after Chrysalis, so it probably senses some kind of good still left within her. Maybe they expand on that in season 9. But yeah, the Tree of Harmony comes back here, and it's basically testing the young Six by having them overcome their fears. And I have to say it was pretty good. It was pretty decent for them to do that. And the fear, and basically by testing them, by having them overcome the fears and kind of show how strong their friendship truly is between them, I thought was a good direction for them to go. Especially, as I've talked about before, if the Tree of Harmony is going to play a major role in season 9 in some capacity, especially towards the end. So it was nice to see that. It was nice to see, I'm guessing, a sample of what Chrysalis may look like may act like when she turns good, because Oculus's Oculus's fear she'll become like Chrysalis. So it was nice to see that. Overall, what lies beneath is a great setup, especially when you get towards the finale that, like I said, officially will debut here in the U.S. tomorrow morning at 8 and 8:30 Pacific time. So yeah, it was good. Sounds of Silence. Oh my gosh. Now we get to Sounds of Silence. I did a review on this. I stick by everything I said in that review. This episode, and I am in total agreement with everybody, was a great episode. They hyped this up at San Diego Comic-Con this year. They hyped up the fact that Rachel Bloom, who's known for her roles in My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and I think Bones and all that, was going to play Autumn Blaze, which was a Corinne. I think that's it's Kirin, Corinne. And oh my gosh, Rachel Bloom brings it full force here in this episode. Really good. As I said in my review, it felt like a freaking Disney Renaissance animation, just the way, Renaissance musical, just the way Autumn Blaze breaks out into song, and then the way they ended with a reprise of the song. It was really, really good. And yes, it also tested the friendship of Applejack and Fluttershy, but it wasn't big of a test, but it was enough of a test to where they have to basically tell the Corinne, yeah, we're friends. Yeah, we may not see eye to eye, but we don't let certain, petty arguments interrupt our friendship. So yeah, overall, Sounds of Silence, definitely good. Definitely one of the better episodes of the series overall, I think. And then you get the Father Knows Beast. Some people thought this episode was all right. They liked the fact that we were finally exploring this direction for Spike. Like about, who his family is. But I think what really set the tone, what's the saying? I think what really set the tone to go downwards, to go into a downward spiral, if you will. I think what set the tone was the fact that you can kind of see, even while they're nursing him back to health, that being Spike and the main six, while they're nursing this dragon back to health and helping him out, you can tell something is off. I mean, the fact that when he's helping Applejack and he sees the cider coming out, and instead of continuing helping her, he just goes where the nozzle is, where the cider's popping out or coming out, and he just lays under it and starts eating the apple cider, just starts drinking the apple cider or sauce, and it distracts Applejack, where she falls off the treadmill that she's using to make it work, or to make the apple cider. You see the same thing with Rainbow Dash. She's trying to help him fly again, but instead he's just using the Wonderbolts, or fellow Wonderbolts, in a lazy way to do the flying for him. So it's like, okay, something's just not right here. And then you get to the point where he reveals who he is, he says he is. And then when he goes into an origin story of how, Spike was abandoned as an egg and all that, you start noticing, just like with Rainbow Dash, because people point out Rainbow's the only one that speaks up at first, there are holes in the story here. It's like, wait a minute. If that's true, then how did this happen? And then you start kind of noticing that something is, and if you didn't notice before, you start really noticing a lot more, because he starts to really ham it up, act it up, ham it up, if you will. And then it's at the end of the song when he says the line that this dragon can't wait to be living here. And you see the look on his face, and it's classic Saturday morning fade out to commercial look with the evil grin on his face and all that. The fact that right then and there with that moment, as they go to the commercial, you know that, yeah, this guy is not who he says he is. He is full of BS. He is full of crap. Now, at first, some people might give the episode the benefit of the doubt and say, well, maybe he is Spike's father, but he's set more in these ways, these deceptive ways, than the ways, a dragon should be or whatever. So, yeah, the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, the fact that he's influenced Spike so much in just a short time he's there, that, and like I said, in just a short amount of time he's there, to the point that Spike says what he does to Twilight, I think really it just didn't really sit well with fans because even the main six are starting to see like there's something not right here. Because one of the things that I think Silver Quill and Dr. Wolf pointed out in their reviews was Twilight. There's a scene where Twilight's coming in with the rest of the main six to use the map to do something, and a lot of people have speculated that her plan is to find out exactly where Sludge is from and possibly see if what he's saying is true. And that doesn't happen because Sludge is laying on top of this damn table where the map is located at. So, yeah. And the fact that it takes Smolder, who I will agree, you talk about, a massive upgrade in character development. Smolder has shown it. There's no doubt about that because, yeah, she may have been tolerable and she was developing in the first half, but the moment the second half began, it's like all of a sudden here comes this great character development just coming out of her. It's just like boom, 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 just coming out of Smolder, and it's like, holy crap, where did this side of her come from? Where was this? Where was this in the first half? So for her to be the one that has to help Spike realize, look, dragons might be rude and obnoxious at times, but parents do not do this to their kids, or other dragons don't do this to each other. They're like family. And it's through that and her finding out more off screen from Spike about what Sludge told him that we finally get the revelation and the truth. Which again leads up to what I said earlier, with Spike going back to Twilight, apologizing for what he said, revealing who Sludge really was. And yeah, again, this episode, when it came to Twilight and Spike in that one scene, was really a testing of the friendship. But this is an episode that pretty much, even though it kind of fell flat in the eyes of a lot of folks, it had the potential, but then it kind of fell flat. It did do something. It basically created one of the most despised antagonists in the show. Probably more despised than Garble as far as dragons are concerned. But yeah, the episode overall was okay, but I think what kind of dragged it down was it took Smolder instead of, and I said this in my review about it, it took Smolder to kind of open up Spike's eyes and make him realize, hey, something is not right here. Something's not clicking, that. And, something's not clicking and all that. And it takes Smolder to make him set up a trap or set up a trap or whatever to get the truth out of him. And one thing that I mentioned in my review is you have Spike that has lived with Twilight his whole life. He's raised by her, practically like a guardian to him, his sister guardian or whatever. He's obviously learned a lot from her. And one of the things he should have learned was, hey, something seems a little off. It's like the first clue, the first thing he should have saw that kind of should have showed that something was off was the way he started acting towards things, or maybe his storytelling, because Spike should have had the same reaction as the rest of the main group. Like, wait a minute, there's something not right here. There's some holes here in that story. So, Yeah, overall, Father Knows Beast was a good episode. And again, it's kind of ironic that every time we get to a finale in this season, whether it's mid-season or actual season 8 finale, there's always a Spike-centered episode, which I think's good. It kind of, I will say, I think it's kind of good because it kind of shows that Spike is going to probably have a bigger role, a much more important role maybe come next season. But yeah, and as far as School Raze goes, I've talked about that already in my review of it when after I saw the early release. And I do plan, if things go right, do plan to wake up in time to do a live stream of the two-parter, my reactions, if you will. And if not, I'll probably come on here later on that night and talk about it. But overall, season 8 has definitely had its ups and downs. The second half is when it really started to pick up a lot more. I mean, yes, it did have some episodes that some fans were not particularly fond of, like Yakety Sax and even recently Father Knows Beast. But overall, everything else was good. I think when you take a look at the episodes that fans did like, they liked the premiere, which was School Days. That's 2 episodes. They liked Mod Couple. They liked Granny's Gone Wild. They liked the Parent Map. They liked Meltdown. They liked the Matter of Principles, Heartwarming Club, and all that. So basically, the positives somewhat outweigh the negatives when you look at season 8 as a whole. So yeah, season 8 was good, and as I said at the beginning, it was the overall theme about this season was friendship, probably more. I mean, like I said at the beginning, yeah, friendship has always been somewhat of a theme, but it was more so this season than ever before. And I think the main theme of the season was friendship. Truly was seeing how strong friendship is when it's being tested to its limits. And basically, that's what it was: friendship being tested to its limits. That's basically what it was. The overall theme was friendship and how strong it is and how much it can endure. So, yeah, overall, season 8 was okay. Ended on a strong high note. A lot of fans would agree with that because when you take a look at a lot of the episodes in the second half and you look at some of the episodes in the first half, overall, like I said, the positives outweigh the negatives here. And I think a lot of fans do appreciate that when they look back on it, they could say, yeah, the season was kind of polarizing at first, but overall the positives do outweigh a lot of the negatives in this season. And hopefully season 9 can be a much more enjoyable season without that many hiccups here and there. And I think it's going to have to be. Honestly, when you look at season 9, it's going to have to be better than what we had here because it's going to be if it's going to be the finale, then it's like I said, it's got to be a lot better than what we got here. So hopefully it starts out strong and it ends strong and it goes into a high. This is the way I'm looking at it. It's got to have a strong beginning. It's got to have a strong mid-season finale, and it's got to have an overall strong series, if not season finale, at the end. So hopefully we get that, and maybe some of the things that I talked about in my recent video where I talked about things that will literally, if not potentially literally happen in season 9 will indeed occur. So that's all I'm going to say, guys, on it. Let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. Thank you all for tuning in live and commenting. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate the viewership here. Oops, hit the wrong thing there. But yeah, I really appreciate the viewership on this video. Thank you all for tuning in live. Again, I'm going to try to do a live stream reaction to the finale tomorrow and kind of give my thoughts on it. if you will. But overall, not too bad. But overall, season 8, not too bad. And like I said, season 9, I think hopefully will be better. And like I said, the way it's got to prove it is by having a strong beginning, a strong middle, and a strong ending. It's got to be strong all the way around. So that's about it. The next time, like I said, tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be doing a live stream reaction to the episodes, and and then come October 27th, I'll be doing a live reaction, possibly to the best gift ever, which is the Christmas special for My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. So that's all I'm going to say, guys. Thank you all for tuning in live. Really appreciate it. Sorry if I rambled a bit and repeated myself and kind of, lost focus a little bit. I was trying to think about what I was going to say, and I was also looking at stuff on screen to get some information that I needed. So I do apologize for that, but thank you again all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And that's about it. So is there any more people saying anything? Let me check before I go. But yeah, like I said, season 8, I think, ended on a high note, on a strong note. And again, the positives outweigh the negatives in this season, especially when you look at the episodes. So overall, not too bad, guys. And that's really all I'm going to say on it. Let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. And that's about it. So again, I will try to do a stream tomorrow morning, a live stream tomorrow morning to the season 8 finale here in the US, as well as I will try to do a live stream to the best gift ever on October 27th. So till then, guys, God bless. Take care. I am out.